What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 37, and today we are returning with the final episode of Season 2, the grand final of Season 2, as we go through the things you wouldn't normally see in a Career Mode episode, in a special in-depth look at the saves. So once again, a recap of the league table, the top scorers, assists and clean sheets charts in the Premier League, what's been going on around the world with the major European leagues and competitions, and also, of course, our transfer shortlist as well as one final run through of our squad and academy. So loads of things to get through today. Let's just get straight into it, shall we? Also, let's detach this wire as well, because that's going to get picked up in the mic quite a bit. What a candid way to end Season 2. Okay, so yeah, we'll start with a brief recap of the league table, but then of course you would have seen this in the last episode with our rapid end Season 2. Liverpool were crowned champions this year with City in second, Manchester United in third, and Spurs wrapping up the top four. Chelsea, Arsenal, Everton were the 5th, 6th and 7th finishers in the Premier League this year. West Ham, Wolves and Leicester wrapped up the top 10. We were 6 points behind Leicester, as we were very close to breaking into the top 10 for the first time in the series, but still finishing a couple of places higher than last year and with a lot more points and fewer defeats as well. And of course, as we knew, the bottom three were Bournemouth, Fulham and Huddersfield going down with a record low of points in the Premier League. And as for the top scorers, assists and clean sheets in the Premier League, we might have noticed it earlier, Anthony Martial did indeed win the Golden Boot this year for Manchester United, 29 goals in 35 games, with De Bruyne finishing second and Roberto Firmino in third. Salah and Aguero wrapped up the top five even. And for Sheffield United, you might notice there, Ivan Toney got onto the top 15, 12th place this year with 13 goals in 26 games, averaging a goal every 2 games. So great to see a player in the top 20 for the first time this year in the series. McBurney also made it into top 25 as well with 10 goals in 29. So great to see that. As for top assists, well, Martial, what a season he had. He also had more assists than anyone else this year in the Premier League with 15 in 35 games. Do we have anyone in the top 25? Yes, we did. Tony with 6 in 26, so nice to see that. And as for the clean sheets as well, David De Gea won the Golden Glove this year, 23 clean sheets in 38 games. As for Dean Henderson, top 10 this year, 2 more than last year, finishing in 9th place with 10 in 34. And did Foster? Yeah, he did. Foster got in there as well. He kept 2 clean sheets towards the end of the season against Spurs and Manchester United with 2 clean sheets. He was in the top 20 as well, which was nice to see. So moving on, I will take a final look at our squad with Sheffield United this year, how we're set up in the team management screen, and also I'll run through the squad hub and focus on a few individual talents as well. Obviously this year, of course, we stuck with a 5-3-2, and I will stick with a 5-3-2 throughout the course of the series, because of course they play a 3-5-2/5-3-2 in real life, so it keeps it realistic. And the reason I don't play 3-5-2 and play 5-3-2 instead is because the wing backs are pushed quite high up naturally. So if we did play 3-5-2, then that would be LM and RM, and we'll be quite exposed at the back. So I think 5-3-2 works better. But so this is our Sheffield United side was this year. This is our best starting 11 throughout the course of the campaign. Currently how our bench is looking, and also our reserves as well. So many young talents in our reserves, it's crazy, man. And I expect quite a few of these to feature quite heavily in Season 3. So as we move into the squad hub, I'm going to run through a few individual players quite quickly and talk about their stats for this second season. Beginning with, of course, our number one, Dean Henderson, who we signed on a permanent deal from Manchester United in the summer, and what an investment that has proved to be. Grew 2 ratings this year, the 24-year-old, now up to 79 rated already, and got 10 clean sheets in 34 Premier League games. 50 grand a week, highest earner at the club, but what an investment this is going to be. Henderson is going to be worth way more than the I think it was 11.5 million we spent on him in the summer transfer window. So glad we got him on a 5-year deal now. Great sophomore year for Henderson this year in third year even in a Sheffield United shirt. Ollie Shaw, of course, broke his toe towards the end of the season and thus missed the final 7 Premier League games of the campaign, but a great sophomore year for Shaw this year in professional football. Grew 6 ratings this season and is now a 78 rated left back at just 18 years old. Without question, one of the brightest young talents in world football, and probably the brightest young fullback, teenage fullback in world football right now. Absolutely great year for Shaw this year. Added assists to his game this year, 6 assists in 29 Premier League games. Still yet to score his first goal in professional football, but he was much more of an attacking threat this year, and he and McBurney had a great partnership as well. Only he's going 2 now. He's going 2 ratings, 2 attributes in the acceleration attribute, but either way, Shaw is improving his stats, and I think next year should be into the low 80s, I'd hope. He's getting better year after year. Such a great young talent. Basham, who has been at Sheffield United for several years, his time at the club is going to come to an end. He's leaving on a free transfer at the end of the season. Decreased 2 ratings this year, so I'm fine letting him go on a freebie. Jack O'Connell grew 2 ratings this year, up to 77 rated, and probably our best centre-half this year. 10 clean sheets in 28 Premier League games, averaging a 7.0. He was very good this year, and great to see, despite now being 27, he's still improving season after season. Egan, of course, was sort of phased into the bench this year, now our 4th choice centre-half. He did grow 2 ratings this season, but like I did discuss during the season, I'm not against selling him in the summer transfer window and looking to invest in a younger centre-half. One thing to consider at least. Scott McKenna grew 4 ratings this year. He has been one of our best signings of the series since coming in from Aberdeen. Had a fantastic year for us this year. 9 clean sheets in 32 Premier League games, and again growing 4 ratings as well. I'm so glad I bought into Bramwell Lane last January. He's been great for us this year. And of course Ben Godfrey, he also grew 4 ratings this year. He took John Egan's place this season. Look at these physical stats improving. You love to see it. And Godfrey this year also was absolutely brilliant in his debut. 9 clean sheets in 27 Premier League games. Great signing from Norwich City this season. And also Jayden Bogle also grew 4 ratings this year. Also great to see the 20-year-old. Got 10 clean sheets in 28 Premier League games and chipped in with a couple of assists as well. I'd like to see him get a few more assists in this team and chip in with a few more direct contributions to our goals. But either way, he's still improving season after season and looking really good since coming in from Derby County last January. And briefly, George Baldock as well grew 1 rating this year. Not sure he'll be staying next season. I might possibly cash in on him, but I have said this before, when Baldock does play, he does play quite well. It's just he's 28 years old now. I think he's only got 1 year left on his deal as well. Yeah, 1 year left, so I might sell him in the summer. It'll be a shame to let George go, but either way, he did okay in limited minutes this year. Oliver Norwood, the captain, 75 rated, isn't going to grow anymore now, and he's now 30 years old as well. Like John Fleck, he did get a contract extension during the year and had a good season for us as well. 5 assists and a goal in 30 Premier League games. But again, like John Fleck, we're now going to see red arrows on our captain. So a bit of a shame, because these 2 players here, they're pretty much always in our midfield trio. One of these 2 is pretty much always part of our midfield trio. And they're still really good players, despite the fact they're now in their advancing years. See Fleck this year, 4 goals and an assist in 20 Premier League games. So they play really well despite their age. But did I just miss Jack Cork? How could I miss Jack Cork? But either way, Fleck and Norwood, they're probably going to be starting to be phased out of the team now, as they are now into their late 20s/early 30s. But yeah, there he is, Jack Cork. Did decrease the rating this year after coming in from Burnley in the summer window. But his presence off the pitch is why we signed Jack Cork. The dressing room leader, 3 assists as well in 21 Premier League games, and also 7 clean sheets in 21 as well. I said it when we signed Jack Cork, he's here to do the dirty work in this team, and he certainly did. He might be decreasing in his stats, but I still love Jack Cork, and even if he won't play much next season, he'll still be part of our team as a dressing room leader. Lundstrom barely played for us this year after coming back from the ACL, so we'll miss out him. But we'll go on to Aidan White, and White this year grew 4 ratings for us. Of course, he got the serious injury as well. Did his MCL during the season, was out for 3 months. What a shame too, because remember, just before that injury, he'd scored his first couple of goals for us. Got increased 4 ratings this year, Aidan White. Played really well in limited minutes, getting, well, it should be 2 goals, as we know. It's 1 goal and 1 assist, but it really was 2 goals. And also scored in his debut in the Carabao Cup as well. I like the look at this kid, played well this year and grew 4 ratings too. Donna Brennan grew 4 ratings this year. A bit of a weird one this though. It says his player performance was good, even though when he was on the pitch this year he struggled quite a bit. No goals or assists this season for our 18-year-old Cam with 5-star skills, but I think I might loan him out next year. I said before, he doesn't actually start that many games. He typically comes off the bench as an impact player, so I think next year what I might do is loan him out for first team football. And Ravel Morrison as well, as we knew, he left it late to score his first couple of goals of the season. Did grow our rating this year though, and is now up to 78 rated, a 28-year-old. He's on 40 grand a week, very low production for a 40 grand a week player. Just the 2 goals and 1 assist this year in 26 Premier League games. I'm not against selling him in the summer transfer window if a good bid comes in, because I'm not sure he's justifying that big contract right now, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I won't put him on a transfer list, we'll just wait and see if a bid comes in naturally for him. Lys Mousset, he struggled this year, just a 1 goal all campaign long for our number 22, although of course he did do his ACL during the season. season, and he's out of contract next season as well. So I'm pretty tempted to swap him out of the club in the summer, as we won't get any bids for him whilst he's still injured. So that's probably going to be what I decide to do. He won't get a new contract, Mousse. So yeah, I'll probably swap him in the summer along with some cash for a better striker. Callum Robinson this year, much better return for Callum. 77 rated now. Robinson grew 2 ratings this year, and he, Tony and McBurney were rotated in our striker role this year. But 7 goals in 29 Premier League games plus 4 assists as well. He was our top scorer for a while this year before Tony just started to bang him in left, right and centre, but still grew 2 ratings this year, and another good season for Robinson, who of course last year was our top scorer. And as for Ivan Toney, the shocker, plus 5 this year for Ivan Toney, up to 76 rated now. What a great second season for Sheffield United, and his first full season as a Sheffield United player. 13 goals in 26 Premier League games and 6 assists as well, averaging a goal every 2 games, and 7.5 was his average rating this year. Our top scorer this year with 15 in all competitions. Absolutely fantastic this year, Ivan Toney, and again growing 5 ratings as well. This guy has been absolutely brilliant since coming in from the Posh, and he's going absolutely nowhere in my team. And also Ollie McBurney, of course, our number 9, of course, coming back from that ACL he suffered in January last season. It took a while to come back to his best form, McBurney. We knew that was going to be the case, shaking off a long-term injury, but he grew a rating this year, now 77 rated, the highest rated striker, and reached double digits this year. 10 goals in 29 games, averaging more than 1 in 3. So it was basically the same sort of ratio he had last year, 1 in 3 for McBurney. Plus he got 4 assists as well, averaging a 7.1. McBurney, great season for us this year, and great to see him stay fit and healthy this year after what happened last season. So moving on, I will now take a look at our academy with Sheffield United, where as you can see it is just brimming with high potential players. I think the standout right now has got to be Serge Koulibaly still, but there are some other players here that are incredible. Koulibaly is of course the 15-year-old left back that I've been talking about quite a bit. 60 rated now, just can't wait until I can promote him and put him into my squad. 90 or 94 potential, so as we know he's got potential to be special. And I mean, put it this way, Ollie Shaw is our best player in our first team right now. Koulibaly could give him a run for his money. He looks fantastic as well. I can't wait until he turns 16, and he is a backup for sure. I'm frothing at the mouth at that combination. I can't wait until he turns 16. You got Morale there, a French cam who looks amazing as well. Brennan, the left wing for Northern Ireland, looks really good as well. Pierre Rocher is probably our second brightest academy talent right now, though. He's also like Koulibaly, 60 rated, but only 15 years old with 91, 94 potential. So like Koulibaly, the second he turns 16, he's getting a pro deal. He looks fantastic. Does he just look so composed? Look at his face. Doesn't he just look so composed and so calm? I think this guy will be an amazing deep line playmaker in this team. Elliot Harris, good young striker there, and also Sam Hill, a young goalkeeper as well. So yeah, our academy right now is just full to the brim of great young prospects waiting to get pro deals. So briefly, one final look at the finance screen in this season for career mode. As you can see, after the tournament prize money, lots and lots and lots of money now in the wage budget. So hopefully for next season, we're going to get more than the 17 million we had this season. That was a really low budget this year. 17 million. I'm hoping for at least 30 million next year after a record high finish in the Premier League in 11th place, and of course that and tournament prize money coming in at the end of the season. And as for the board objectives for season 2 as well, our manager popularity rating is now up to 73, and this is how we got on this year. We failed our youth development objective, but I didn't really care too much about that. I mean, Jesus man, the board can't be worried about our youth right now. When you look at our academy, it's incredible. Although our brand exposure, once again, that right now, that can't be hit as it's a long-term objective. We're still waiting for the progress to be added up when the seasons finish in season 3. Of course, we're not in continental football right now, so no continental objectives, but domestically hit both of our objectives, finished mid-table in the Premier League with an 11th place finish, and went 2 stages further in the FA Cup, reaching the quarter-finals for the first time in the series when the board just asked us to reach the round of 32. And as for our financial objective, we failed to reduce the player wage by 45 grand a week, but of course that was going to be very difficult to do when you consider, of course, the low budget we had this season and the need to improve our team. But we did finish the season with a profit margin of £67.5 million. That's basically impossible to fail in the Premier League if you stay out due to the tournament prize money, and also within 3 seasons we have increased the club worth of our club by 50% as well. So our manager rating not too high at 73, but for the most part we're totally fine. So now we shall look at who won the cups in this year's career mode in England and also the Champions League and the Europa League as well. Manchester City won the FA Cup this year, beating Everton 3-1. I believe Everton have now reached 3 cup finals in this career mode and lost them all. Heartbreak for the Toffees. Last year, of course, they were in the FA Cup final and the Carabao Cup final. Lost them both. And this year they lost the FA Cup as well to Manchester City. So heartbreak for the Toffees, but at least they get into finals. And as for the Carabao Cup, as we know, Liverpool won it this year, beating Spurs by 2-1 at Wembley. The Super Cup this year was won by Real Madrid, beating Inter by 2-1 in the final. And as for the Champions League this year, that was won by Barcelona, beating Liverpool by 2-1 in the final. And as for the Europa League this year, that was won by an English team, as you can see. Chelsea beat Ajax in the final by 1-0. So we're now going to take a look at the major European leagues in Europe and how they finished up. But before we do that, the lower leagues in English football, starting with the Championship, where Southampton are back to the Premier League after dominating the Championship this year with 38 wins in 46 games, 120 points on the board. What a season for Southampton. And Cardiff City, who of course we knocked out in the FA Cup third round, they're coming into the Premier League as well. I'm sure Neil Etheridge provided some heroics on the way there, as those two are the automatic promoted teams this year. Aston Villa, Middlesbrough, Norwich and Bristol City will compete in the playoffs this year to see who goes up to the Premier League alongside the top two. League One, that's what we like to see. Wigan crowned champions, but Millwall, hey, they're back to the Championship, finishing in second place this year. 2 points clear of Luton, who finish in third. Pompey in fourth, the Posh in fifth, and Oxford United wrap up the playoffs in League One. And this is how the rest of the table ended up looking. And as for League Two, Mansfield Town are crowned champions this year, finishing top of the table, 1 point clear of Bradford City in second place. Look at that, 4 teams finishing with 100 plus points this year. That's pretty remarkable, right? And as for Bury, those of you might be wondering where Bury finished this year, 22nd place, so not bottom for the side who of course only have fake players in the game. Morecambe were bottom of League Two this year. Ligue 1 was won by Paris Saint-Germain once again, with 38 wins in 38 games. Unbelievable. I've said this before, you know, the top teams in Europe, there's always one team that seems to absolutely dominate the league table and finish either winning every single game or finishing unbeaten. Paris Saint-Germain, 100% record in French football. Incredible. And the trend continued in Germany as well. Bayern Munich undefeated like PSG this year. Didn't win all their games though, slipped up twice. So terrible season for Bayern Munich. 2 draws, oh my god. But 32 wins in 34 games. They were crowned champions. Dortmund in second, RB Leipzig in third, and Bayer Leverkusen wrapped at the top 4 in the Bundesliga. Juventus once again crowned champions of the Serie A as they continue to dominate Italian football. 107 points on the board, 4 points clear of Inter, finishing second, and Napoli in third. Look at that, the top 3 all having 100 points, but Juventus managed to hold off the challenge and once again wrap up the Serie A, and the bottom 3 were Parma, Frosinone and also Empoli as well. The Dutch league was once again won by Ajax, and just like PSG, they won all of their games, 34 wins out of 34 games for the Dutch side as they are once again crowned champions of the Eredivisie. Portuguese league was won by Benfica, 92 points, finishing 3 points clear of Porto and Sporting in second and third place respectively. Celtic once again crowned champions of the Scottish Premier League, doing it undefeated as well, 28 wins in 33 and finishing 4 points clear of their old firm rivals Rangers. And as for La Liga, look at this, Barcelona were crowned champions. They did it undefeated this year with 34 wins in 38 games, but the goal difference was exactly the same as Real Madrid, and they would have won it either by head-to-head, which is how it should be in La Liga, but I'm not sure if the game do it on head-to-head, or by 1 goal more scored against Real Madrid. Of course, it should be head-to-head record, but I'm not sure if it goes down to that in the game. But either way, look at how tight it is. They had the same goal difference record and the same points, but they did score 1 more goal, so it would have been either that, why they picked Real Madrid, or the head-to-head record. We're not too sure, but one of the two. Either way, still incredibly tight, and Atletico Madrid and Valencia wrapped up the top 4 in La Liga, and you see the bottom 3 there. And also I want to see what happened to Racing Santander this year. Where were Racing Santander in the second division? Don't tell me they were bottom 3. Oh no, Racing! They were bottom 3. finishing 20th. Either way, we still love you, Racing. We still love you. And we shall end with the Turkish Super League, where Fenerbahce went it undefeated this year. 30 wins in 34 games, 4 points clear of Galatasaray in second place. So all in all, a very successful second season at Bramall Lane for Sheffield United this year, finishing in 11th place in the Premier League and reaching the last eight of the FA Cup for the first time in this series. Of course, our record signing this year was Dean Henderson for £12.5 million. What an investment that is going to prove to be. And of course, we sold Ender Stevens, our record sale of the series so far, for £4.35 million. We won 16 of our 45 games this year and still had more defeats than wins, just like last season, but it was still improvement on last year. Of course, last year we had 21 defeats and 42. It was a lot better this year. And we're gradually improving this team year after year. That's what we want to do. Gradual improvement throughout the course of the series as that continues this season. And now we're going to take a look at our transfer shortlist for Season 3, where you can take a look at the players right now on our shortlist. There aren't too many names I've added to it over the course of the season, but once again, we're going to keep it quite realistic and mostly look at, mostly look at players that are in the British Isles. Perhaps look a little bit further afield, but for the most part, keep it quite realistic and look to bring in a nice British core here with Sheffield United. Starting with the two goalkeepers we've got on our shortlist. Of course, I did discuss it towards the end of the season. Now that Foster's leaving, I probably won't sign a goalkeeper in the summer, but if I do, I'll probably get one of these two guys. Aaron Ramsdale, of course, the young Bournemouth goalkeeper, 23 years old, 72 rated. Wouldn't cost us much to pick him up, and of course, from a side that were relegated this year, I wouldn't be against signing him. If not, then Neil Etheridge, of course, part of that promotion-winning Cardiff City side. 76 rated. He was incredible for Cardiff against us this year in the FA Cup. 31 years old now, but again, if we do sign a goalkeeper, we'll probably one of those two, but I doubt we'll pick up either, but they're still on the shortlist just in case. We still have that young right back from Rochdale. You guys have commented a couple of times on our shortlist. He will be a very cheap signing if we wish to pick him up, and he's now up to 65 rated at just 18 years old, so worth considering. And also Jack Stacey as well. I did discuss Baldock, of course, when we ran through the squad. I wouldn't be against swapping Baldock to Bournemouth to try and reduce the transfer fee and picking up Jack Stacey. 25 years old, so 3 years younger than Baldock, 3 ratings higher, and I'd imagine still has a bit of room to grow. Quite a similar player as well, quick off the mark, high stamina with high medium work rate, and technically very good too. So I think that would be quite a good little sort of improvement on Baldock, whilst keeping it quite realistic and bringing in a player that's higher rated and younger as well, worth considering. As for the centre-backs, quite a lot of names on our shortlist here, including Chris Metham, who of course we had in our Cardiff City save last year in my Football Manager series. High work rate, 6'3" and 77 rated. Again, part of the side that got relegated, just like Terence Congolo. So realistically, these two players would make sense. Congolo 4 years older than Metham, but I'd love Terence Congolo in our side. 4-star, weak foot, 6'2", physically. Look at that 91 jumping. I think he'd be a great player for us to pick him up if we wish to do so from a relegated side. And again, it'd be quite realistic. Joe Worrell is still on our shortlist from Nottingham Forest, so I'm not sure I'd sign him. He's not really progressed much, so I might actually remove him from our shortlist actually and take him out now. Jordan Torunariga, though, he's still on our shortlist, and for a good reason, because Hertha Berlin still haven't offered him a contract and got rid of that release clause. He's valued just under what his release clause is right now, 75 rated, and it would only cost 8.4 million to bring him in. We had him in our Millwall Football Manager save, and this guy was really good. So if we do go further afield and go into Europe for our players this year, Torunariga would definitely be an option. Kieran Clark and Ben Mee for veteran presence if we wish to sign either of these players here. We could sign Ben Mee in a free transfer, but I don't really want to abuse the free contracts. I said that before, so I probably won't do that. But either way, Clark is there as well for veteran presence. Jack Stevens, part of the Southampton side right now. He'd cost undervaluation to bring him in. And 77 rated, 27 years old. He'd be a great signing for us as a fourth choice centre-half to perhaps improve on John Egan. Tyrone Mings from Aston Villa is also on the list still as well. Wouldn't be against selling him, but at 28 years old now, I'd probably look for a little bit younger blood. But either way, at 6'5", aerial presence, definitely worth considering. As for the left backs, well, I'm not against keeping Ben Osborne here, but if we do decide to sell him and look for a backup for Ollie Shaw, and Koulibaly remains at 15 years old next season, then Jamal Lewis, who we discussed last year, would be a great option. 76 rated, high work rate. Said this before, this is the type of guy I want in the wing back role. He's quick and has high work rates and has 92 stamina and has technical stats as well. He would be the perfect backup left back for Ollie Shaw, but he will cost quite a few million, so not too sure I'll do that. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And Jada Silva is also there as well, high medium work rate. Not the highest stamina, but absolutely rapid Jada Silva at Bristol City, so worth considering if the lads from Ashton Gate don't get promoted in the playoffs. We've got 5 holding mids on our shortlist for Season 3, including Trevor Chalobah, part of the Terriers side, who got relegated. Wouldn't mind picking this guy up on a cut price deal. He's 6'3" Chalobah, with some decent physical stats, and he'd also cost under his valuation as well. And his brother, Nathaniel Chalobah, is 5 years older, but he's also 5 ratings higher from Watford. They didn't get relegated, but we might be able to pick him up for under the valuation as well, so worth considering. Isaac Hayden, 1 rating higher, same years old as Nathaniel Chalobah. Could get him on a pre-contract, but again, I don't want to abuse the system, so we'll probably look to pick him up on a permanent deal next year if we wish to do so. Medium high work rates, 4-star weak foot, and would fill in really well as part of our team. If we wanted to break the bank and bring in Doucouré, this guy will cost an absolute fortune, but his stats are incredible. High medium work rates, 84 rated with 94 stamina. Oh yes, and technically absolutely brilliant, particularly on the defensive end, but again, it would cost an absolute fortune to pick him up. But a more realistic signing would be this guy. I thought my game froze there. Hamza Chowdhury of Leicester City with the giant afro. Chowdhury didn't play much for Leicester this year in the game. Didn't have a good season, Leicester, this year either, finishing mid-table. We could probably pick him up. I think that'd be quite realistic. He's only 23 years old, 78 rated, and wouldn't cost much more than his valuation. Medium high work rates, 82 stamina, 90 aggression, and defensively very good as well, and could possibly be retrained to play as a ball-playing centre-back. Worth considering regardless, and could be an option for next year. There's a few right-sided players here, and we've got David Brooks from Bournemouth. Of course, they were relegated, so I'd love to pick him up. It cost us quite a bit of money, though, but would be a great signing. Only 23 years old, but already 80 rated. Now, of course, we don't play with wide midfielders. What I'd probably do with Brooks is drift him in field and play him as part of our central midfield trio. So Brooks is there with the 4-star skills and 4-star weak, but again, it probably costs quite a bit of money. Victor Moses, this is quite an interesting one. I was considering possibly trying to sign on a free transfer right now to end the season off, because he's 30 years old, and I think that would be quite realistic as well. He wouldn't get a new deal at Chelsea. He'd probably be let go on a free transfer, as he's had so many loans away from Stamford Bridge since he signed all those years ago. 4-star, and he'd probably agree to take a pay cut as well, but I think I'll probably leave it and see if he gets let go on a free transfer. I highly doubt he will, but you never know, and we'll have to wait and see. Joe Lolly from Nottingham Forest, he's there as well. 4-star skills, 3-star weak foot, very nice stats on him, but at 28 years old now, I think I'll probably leave him where he is. And also Buendia from Norwich City as well. Big fan of this guy. 4-star weak foot, 3-star skill. He's scored that wonderful goal against us in the FA Cup this year. Technically very good, and playing him centrally too, I think he'd do well in our team. So he's also on the shortlist as well. There's a few players in the central midfield position, including Davy Prupper, who of course he already agreed a pre-contract for next season, so can't wait for the Dutch midfielder to come in for season 3. Matt Smith is still there, the young QPR midfielder. Sissoko is also still there as well, as is Jamie Shackleton, David Turnbull, and also Josh Brownhill, who I'd love to pick up from Bristol City. I think it'd be a great signing for us with that 96 stamina. Worth considering, but again, he would cost quite a bit over the valuation, so not too sure about that one. We've got 2 left midfielders, including Dwight McNeil, who's grown so well in this career mode. It costs quite a lot of money to get in, but I think he'd be a brilliant left wing back in our team. High work rates, 3-star. He's quick, has some decent stamina too, and technically looks brilliant when going forward. So it costs quite a bit of money, and I'm not sure I'd go for him with Shaw being so good, but worth considering. And it's the same with Diego Laxalt as well. He doesn't have the left wing back position in his list of positions, but he could definitely play there. A left-footed LM, 78 rated. I don't think it costs too much money either, with high work rates, 4-star skills. He's rapid and has the stamina as well. This guy would be a great backup for Ollie Shaw in the left wing back role. Definitely worth considering. We got 3 cams on our shortlist, including the guy that I can't help but have a voice crack for every time I say his name, Dimitri Payet. 77 rated, 34 years old. I'd love to bring him back to the Premier League, man. When he was playing for West Ham, I couldn't help but admit it. Even as a Millwall fan, I just had joy watching him play, because he just had that flair and that touch for the unexpected, and he was just so fun to watch. He really was. I'd love to bring him back, man, even at his old age now, 34. Eze of QPR, who I've said before, one of the brightest young talents playing in the Championship right now. Very good young prospect, 4-star skill moves like play it with a 3-star weak foot, but he would cost quite a bit of money. And also Quinner, if you remember, in the game against Watford this year, in this game, he just tore me apart. He's 21 years old, 74 rated, can play Cam, CM and CDM as well, and we might be able to get him for under the valuation from the Hornets as well. I'd love to have this guy in our team. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And also, I will be honest here, I was kind of hoping that Watford would have got relegated so I could pick this guy up, hopefully, on a cut price deal. Gerard Deulofeu, once of Barcelona, the 82 rated centre forward that can also play on the wings as well. Valued at £23.5 million. Would have to break the bank to get the 4-star Spaniard in, but oh, he's absolutely rapid and has the technical stats as well. This guy gets bums off seats. I'd love Deulofeu as part of my side, but Watford are staying in the Premier League, so I don't think we'll be getting him for next year. And as for the strikers here, we're on the shortlist too. Wesley of Aston Villa, who of course loaned out from Aston Villa this season. He's now playing for St Etienne, 83 rated. And my goodness, if we could get him for next year, it cost a fortune to get him, but I'd love to have him as part of our side. Dwight Gale is on the shortlist as well, as a veteran striker from Newcastle. Not really a veteran, but an older striker from Newcastle, 30 years old, valued at £6.5 million. Could possibly get him on a cut price deal. 4-star weak foot. He's absolutely rapid and has agility as well, so worth considering. And Mitrovic from Fulham, a side that were relegated this year. We have to spend over the valuation to get him. It costs a lot of money to get the Serbian, but 81 rated, 26 years old, and part of a relegated side. It will be a realistic signing if we were to pick him up. He's very strong and he can finish and head as well. So that is going to wrap up season 2, guys. So a big thank you for all your support throughout our second season at Bramall Lane. It's been a great series so far. I cannot believe we're about to start season 3 in the next episode as well. It feels like we only began a week ago. We're into season 3 tomorrow. So yes, tomorrow morning at 10 AM UK time, guys, season 3 is going to begin. And as per usual, if we hit the like target in the morning video, we'll have a double upload day. So we could have the first 2 episodes of season 3 out tomorrow. So yeah, look forward to it. Set your alarms tomorrow, guys, 10 AM UK time, and the start of season 3 with the first episode of our 3rd season at Bramall Lane. So thank you for all your support throughout season 2, guys. I really appreciate all the support and the feedback. It's been a great series so far. Let's keep it going, and let's hope in season 3 as well, where we'll find out our budget tomorrow morning. We'll make some good signings, improve our side, and hopefully next year finish in the top half of the table for the first time in the series. Touch wood. So thank you for your support throughout season 2 and the series as a whole, guys. If you enjoyed today's episode and the season, then please drop a like. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the start of season 3 tomorrow morning at 10 AM UK time.